Hello. I keep getting asked questions from people that meet me or talk to me online or whatever about living full time in an RV. And they want to do it when they retire or whatever. So I thought I'd just give my thoughts on full time RVing or just having an RV. Yeah, I'm social distancing. I'm taking a walk through nature. Anyway, I'm not going to get into which RV is the best because that's all subjective to each individual person. Some people would rather have a fifth wheel. Some people would rather have a Class C. Some would rather have a full-blown motorhome. You know, whether it's a diesel or a gas, it's all up to you. How much you want to spend on one, that's also up to you. Some people can find them for, $3,000 and be happy. Some people want to spend, $1 million on or more on a coach, and that's fine. It's all subjective. Living full-time in an RV takes some getting used to because you really only have so much room. Your layout is basically your layout. There's only so much you can change in an RV. My suggestion, my thoughts on when and if we change RVs is we go to an RV show. Not one put on by a dealer, but one that has multiple dealers with multiple types of RVs, multiple brands of RVs, so that you really know what's out there. Go through them all, walk through them all. And the first thing I do is I look at what the cargo carrying capacity is. Some people just don't care and they'll fill up the RV with whatever and not worry. And the problem is if the cargo carrying capacity is only 2,000 pounds, that's you, anybody else you have in there, clothes, food, dishes, gaming systems, whatever you're going to have in there extra, that's in the 2,000 pounds. If the cargo carrying capacity is 5,000 pounds or more, then I might consider walking in. If it's like 7,000 pounds, I'm walking in. You'll find the cargo carrying capacity, usually it's on a label that's on the door. So I look at that first. Is the cargo carrying capacity? I want to be as safe as possible. That's my life. That's going to be moving around in this thing. That's going to be sitting in this thing. And I want my life as safe as I can get it. Without restricting. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop me. But I will look for the best for me. Yeah, I'm at the moment I'm staying right near a big plant. Well, look at the poppies. Anyway, so that's the first thing, is I look at the cargo carrying capacity. Then I walk in. And I look at the layout. If it's a brand new rig, it better have everything I decide I want at that point in time. And by that I mean if I walk in and I sit down on the couch and I have to turn my head to watch TV, which means I have to turn my head if I'm playing a game or whatever. Yes, I'm a gamer. I'm a female and I'm a gamer. And I have to turn my head. That means anytime I want to look at that TV, I have to turn my head. Which it's great if you think that you're only going to be sitting there for 5 minutes to watch something. And we all know that's not true. If you're going to be watching a football game, guess what? For the whole however long it's going to last, you're going to be turning your head. It's going to hurt your neck. So if it's a brand new RV and I see first off that TV is not in a decent spot, then I leave. If it's a used RV and I see the TV not in a decent spot, then I'll think maybe, okay, I can change that. I can move that TV, whatever. But it's a brand new RV. You better have what I want where I want. Because I'm not going to look at your RV. Whoever designed your RV, well, in my opinion, you need a new designer. Because you can get the TV in the right spot across from the couch or the chairs. Not on the side. That's number one. Number two, the kitchen. The kitchen I have in the current RV is actually a rather large countertop and kitchen space. I don't need that much. It's nice to have that much. Oh, I see a birdie over there. And that bird's gonna fly away. And there it goes. Anyway. I also don't have an actual oven in my kitchen. I have drawers for more storage. The debate is open on an oven in an RV. Most people, for an oven, they say that there's uneven cooking. So they put a pizza stone in the bottom. Oh, don't want to step in that. Put a pizza stone in the bottom to help even out the temperature in the cooking. Because apparently some people get the result, and apparently it seems to be more common than not, of half of it still being half raw and the other half burned. So, yeah, I'd rather not deal with that. So I don't have an oven, and I don't care to have an oven. Unless you can guarantee me it's going to be fairly even. No oven is completely even. I have a convection oven in my RV, and I learned to bake with it, cook with it, roast with it, you name it. If it can be done in an oven, I can do it in the convection. Actually, the largest baking I did was, I have a recipe from my grandmother that's 45 plus dozen cookies. It's a rolled filled cookie, so it all depends on how big you make them as to how many dozen you get. I've gotten 45, I've gotten 50, so yeah, each time I've done it. Yes, in the RV, in the kitchen, in a convection oven. First time I did it took me 4 days. That's a large recipe. Anyway, if anybody's wondering, it's Gucciotti cookies. It's an Italian. Usually they do it around Christmas. But it's expensive to make because, for one, it is large, and for another, there's a lot of ingredients in it. But, so I look at the kitchen. I look at where the bedroom is at in the RV, for whichever one I'm thinking of maybe getting. I look at the bathrooms. How much room is in the bathroom? Can I actually sit down on the toilet? I know most people will go walking through and not even think about how they're going to live in it. Even if you only use it for the weekends or whatever, picture yourself actually living in it. Because if you can't stand it for a week, 3 days a week, you're going to end up getting rid of it and hating RV life. So actually picture yourself living in it. Sit down on the couch. Where's the TV? Where's all the storage? Picture where are you going to actually put stuff. Because if you walk in and you love the look of it, but you don't bother to think and look at how little storage there is, you're going to hate it because it's not going to have room for everything. Case in point, we looked at one RV, we loved it. Loved it. Beautifully set up. Adored it. It's wide open. Had tons of space. And then we started thinking, okay, where are we going to put stuff? And realized there's a reason why it's really wide open and it looks like it has a ton of space. Because there's like no storage. Well, very little. So, done walking out. You know, lay on the bed. Put the slides in if you can. What's the room walking around when you put the slides in? You know, how much storage is underneath? How much storage do you need? These are things you need to think of. Not, oh, the colors are pretty. That can be changed. The wallpaper is pretty. That can be changed. That backsplash behind the kitchen sink, I don't like it. So I don't want to get this one. You know what? A backsplash can be changed. I'm talking about things that are a little harder to change. You know, if the TV's not in the right spot for you for sitting on the couch, and you think, oh, I can change that, just remember, it's not just moving the TV. You're probably going to have to move electrical wiring, add electrical wiring. That means you need the schematics for the RV. You know, if it's an older RV, are you going to be able to get the schematics? We had a hard time getting the schematics for our RV. We'd love to upgrade our RV, but we haven't found one that we are willing to pull the plug on to get. Oh, I think I'm running out of. Yep, I ran out of. So I turn around. I'll go a different way. Yeah, we haven't found one that suits us quite as well. So we still have a 1993 Monaco Crown Royal Signature Series. And ours is unusual because who had it built to begin with actually had two different models put together. So we have the front half of one and the back half of another. Yeah. And that's the other thing. You know, if you go to sell it, more than likely you're not going to get exactly what you paid for it out of it. Unless you found somebody who is selling a $100,000 coach, and that's what it's going for on, oh, it's not Kelley Blue Book. Anyway, look up what the going price is to sell that coach is at. And if it's a $100,000 coach and somebody wants to sell it for 30, okay, fine. You make it out what you put into it. But more than likely, if it's a $100,000 coach and you put $80,000 and it's what you pay for it, and then you put $50,000 worth of work into it for solar or upgrading this or upgrading that, guess what? More than likely, you're not going to get that out. An RV is not an investment. On very rare occasions will an RV even be considered an investment. Most banks will not even do it as a home loan. because it's not considered a home. There's special insurance you need to get, and you have to specify if you are staying in it full time. I know Progressive does full-timers RV insurance, which means it's basically a vehicle and a home, and that's what they insure it as. It's actually not terribly expensive, but so yeah. And if you're going to be staying in a lot of national parks, which at the moment with the virus going around, most of those still aren't open. If you're going to be staying in a national park, and that's where you're going to do most of your camping at, then you want to get something that's not 40 or 45 foot, because they just can't handle them. Then you have to decide, are you going to go 50 amp or 30 amp? How big do you want your tanks to be? Your gray water, your black tank, your freshwater tank. All this goes into consideration. And a lot of people don't think about this right away when they're first looking at an RV. You need to think about if you're going to go full-time, where is your home state going to be? Some require you to have it inspected every year, some don't. Some require you to do various things, some don't. California, after a certain length and weight, requires you to have a special license, which you have to take a special driving test for. Not every state does. If you're going to tow, are you going to tow flat? That means all four wheels of the vehicle on the ground. You have to verify that the vehicle can actually be towed flat, four down. If it can be towed on a dolly, what kind of dolly are you going to use? You're going to use a bed, flatbed dolly. Yeah, we had a, the name escapes me. I'm in the middle of walking, so I'm kind of like just doing this off the top of my head. I don't have a list put out of what I wanted to talk about. How much time do you want to spend doing all of that? I will tell you that doing flat down, four wheels on the ground towing is usually the fastest way. You can get up and going pretty much, 20 minutes. 10 minutes if you're good. If you have everything already set up to go, boom, 10 minutes, you're gone. I would say it takes most people an hour to actually get going, because you have to get everything put away on the inside if you don't already. Make sure things are turned off and stuff like that. You need to decide, are you going to have a propane fridge, an RV fridge, or a residential? We took the propane out of ours and put in a residential. We changed out the 3,000 or the 1,500 watt inverter for a 3,000 watt pure sine. Whoever had the coach before us, or whoever did the modifications before us, had actually changed out the microwave convection for a higher wattage one, which meant that at some point, because we didn't double check, the microwave was pulling more watts than the inverter could handle, and it burned out. They both did. So we made sure when we got the next inverter that it had more watts than we needed at that time. And 3,000 watts seems to do us fairly well. We don't have, well, we do have one solar panel on the RV currently, and it's only 100 watts, but it was put on when the RV was built in 93, so that tells you how much it's probably not working very well. But it still puts out something. Anyway, yeah, there's a ton of things people need to look at. You need to look at how much you can carry inside the RV. If you're going to tow it or tow something, how much is the tongue weight going to carry? And is that going to be over or under? You have room. What's the layout? How much storage does it have? These things are the most important to me because a lot of these things you can't change. You know, you can't change how much you can carry. Fairly easy. There's some ways to beef up things underneath the coach, but it can get expensive. So, how much can it carry now? How much are you going to use it? Are you going to use it from the inside? Are you going to just use it for tailgating? Then you may not need to worry about where the TV is at. But if you're going to be in it for any length of time to watch a football game, the news, you name it, then you're going to want to know where things are located at. Can you get to the fridge if you're driving and you have to stop and it has slides? Can you get to the bathroom if it has slides and you need to stop on the side of the road? Yeah, great, you can stop at a truck stop or a rest area or whatever, but if you've ever driven I-10 through Texas, those are few and far between. So, just better to make sure you can get to what you need to get to when you can get to it. Yeah, those are the most important things to me. I don't necessarily look at the price first because price can be negotiated. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's just like buying a car, or you go to the flea market, you negotiate a price. I don't care if the unit is brand new, you can still negotiate a price. So I look at what things are worth to me to spend to change. Oh, look at the poppies. Yeah, we're right near the poppy reserve, so we get the poppies all over the place. All the orange you see. Oh, and you see way over there, those are solar fields. And of course the power plant. But yeah, those are the things. Now, as for living full-time in it, if you're going to live with someone, you better like them a lot, because there's not a lot of room. I don't care how big you think that RV is. It's not going to be enough room if, say, right now when you're in lockdown. And you can't really go anywhere. And you can't do much of anything unless you're staying where we're at the moment, which is an RV park. That's out in the middle of nowhere. So that's number one. Number two, what kind of RVing do you think you're going to do? Are you going to go from park to park every few days? That's expensive. Are you going to go, you're going to stay for 2 weeks someplace and then move on? I tell you, most of the time we don't bother with reservations anywhere. Because most of the traveling we do ends up being out of season, so we don't have to worry about very much with the reservations. Number two is we're both veterans, and not only do I have access to the parks outside, I can also most of the time do family campgrounds inside of the military installations, which is nice because there's usually a PX and a commissary right there also. within walking distance of the campground. Yeah, I've stayed at quite a number of military installations in private parks. If you are AARP or a military vet or Good Sam or whatever, always ask for a discount on the rate, no matter what it is. Do you offer a discount for X? Most of the time they'll go, well, do you have this or that? And if you say no, most of the time, well, I'll go ahead and give you that. That's more common than you would think. So getting a 5 or a 10% discount on a stay is always good. Just be polite. That helps way more than demanding, well, I'm a veteran, how come you don't have a discount? Or I have AARP, how come you don't offer discounts? Being demanding doesn't get you much sometimes. Squeaky wheel does not always get greased. Yeah, you need to just think about how you're going to use it, how you want to use it, how you think you might be using it. Don't worry about getting the perfect RV. It's not going to happen. Even though we've had this one for the last 12 years or so, it's not perfect. But we haven't found anything we want to trade off to yet, unless it's like for building it to our specifications, which we don't feel like paying the money for. Not yet, anyway. Yeah. How much are you comfortable with paying? What kind of RVing do you want to do? What kind of RV do you want? It really doesn't matter so much as the type of RV. You just have to be comfortable in it. You have to know that what you have has a place inside the RV, because if you don't have the storage for it, you're going to not like the RV very much. If it's not going to be moving very well, if the engine's always going to go out on you, or the towing of it is going to be a hassle, or if things are a hassle, we tend not to like them very much, and then it just, it blows, and I can't stand this, and that. I don't see how people can enjoy this. Just take a deep breath and decide what is most important to you. I know to me, it's the cargo carrying capacity, where things are situated inside the RV, and stuff like that, because I know I'll be living in it. And if I'm living in it, it better be comfortable for me. If it's not comfortable, what can I change? And if I can't do the changing, how much am I willing to spend to have somebody else change it for me? How much is my time worth? That's usually the other thing. If there's things that you want changed, do you want to do it yourself, or do you want somebody else to do it for you, and how much is your time worth? Solar for RVs has gotten cheaper, and if you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to do a lot of boondocking, make sure you have tanks big enough to handle for as long as you want to be out there, because you can't fill them up or empty them. You become very cognizant of exactly how much electricity you're using and water when you're living in these things full time, and you have to be very careful. When do you want to dump? How often? And that type of stuff. So that plays into where you're going to be camping at too. Yeah, that's not good. Why do people do that? But yeah, that's my take on it. If you've watched till the end, thank you. I keep getting asked, and those are my thoughts on it. Like I said, I can't tell you which one to buy. I can't tell you gas. I can't tell you diesel. And from what I understand, they're making electric ones now, or they're starting to. So I can't tell you. That's all subjective. That's entirely up to personal preference. Whether you want a fifth wheel, a 40-foot motorhome, a Class C, a Super C, a towable, a teardrop, pop-up. It's all what you want. How much can you handle to move from place to place? how much can you handle to drive or tow. Because some people would love to have a 40-foot towable, or I think they're larger, but they can go larger. But towing it is another thing, and they can't do that. There are places that'll give you RV classes on how to hook up and drive so that you can do it safely. If you've never driven a semi or a big, huge diesel truck like some in the military have, a deuce and a half and whatnot, and it's a little scary, take a class. They're not expensive when you're talking about being safe on the road, because you have all kinds of vehicles out there. So just be safe on the road. Decide what you can and cannot, what you do and do not want in it, and stuff like that. Because it's all subjective. No matter what I say, it all then depends on you. All right. Bye.